All right, guys, let's try this. I'm hoping it'll work. We'll find out in just a couple of minutes. So I had promised that I would do this worksheet for you, and I'm going to work on it. Hopefully you figured it out. Maybe you Googled it on your own. Maybe you've already seen the answers because the answers are out there on the Google. But let's go ahead and we'll try and do this together right now. So getting back to some things that I did on the Punnett Square video that I did the other day, you need to know that these capital letters refer to a dominant trait, okay? And in these particular guinea pigs, the dominant trait is hair, or hairy, and the recessive trait is hairless. So that big H tells me that this thing is homozygous, or the same. And the phenotype, well, we can see by looking at it. We can see by looking at this. We know that capital H is for hairy, so this guy is his phenotype, or the physical expression is hairy. Now, this guy, hairless. This guy is dominant and homozygous. This guy is recessive. Lowercase letter, so uppercase, lowercase. The one that I'm going to do with you tomorrow, I'm going to be saying big B, little b, or big H, little h, or so be ready for that. This guy is also homozygous. And it's given to us that he's hairless. Okay, most fun thing you're going to see all day. And I've been drawing this guy for a while, and he looks different every single time. And, you know, who knows if he's a guy or a girl. And this will be a foot right there. It looks like an anteater a little bit. And he's heterozygous, so that means he's big H, little h, heterozygous, and he's hairy. So far, so good, I hope. Now, it says an allele is a form of a gene. In the Punnett square on the right, how many big H, little h alleles does a baby guinea pig get from its mother? How many from its mother? Well, it's 1. And how many big H, little h alleles does a baby guinea pig inherit from the father? It's 1. So 1 from the mom, 1 from the dad for this particular characteristic. Remember, some characteristics are going to give us, more than 2 alleles, or are going to be requiring more than 2 alleles, and that's we'll talk about that some more probably next week. So let me see, do I have a blue pen? No, I do not. Yes, I do. I'm going to use this blue pen to show the big H's, because that's how they've got it. That's how this particular worksheet works. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a big H. We're going to say this is the dad. We're going to say this is the dad. And big H from the dad from here. And the dad also gives this baby a big H. And the other day when I was doing the Punnett squares, gosh, it seems like it was days ago, it was yesterday, I used different colors, and I drew circles and arrows and whatever. I don't know if that was helpful. Here's my first question for you. Actually, I'll ask another question in a little bit. Now, this is the mom. Okay, and we'll go ahead and do the same pattern. This mom gives this big H to this baby. And a big H to this baby. And we always write the capital letter or the dominant trait first. Okay, so far so good, I hope. So big H from the mom, big H from the mom, big H from the dad, big H from the dad. Okay, so far so good. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the pink because they have purple. I don't have purple. I brought home a couple of pens, but I wasn't thinking. So this baby's done. His genotype is already done. His genotype is already ready to determine his phenotype. But this baby is going to get this little h from the dad. And this baby is going to get a big H from this dad. I don't know why I'm making that pink. It probably should be blue. And a little h from the mom and a little h from the dad. Now remember, Punnett squares are probabilities. Okay, this is a probability. And I want you to write that probability. I want you to write that there. Okay, so if a baby girl guinea pig looks almost identical to the mother, does this mean that it inherited more alleles from its mother? Explain. Well, no, it's not going to inherit more alleles from one parent than the other, unless it's a sex-linked trait, and we'll talk about that some more later. I want you to write no, because the offspring inherit one allele from each parent for this characteristic. And okay, so these are the genotypes, and how they look. The physical appearance is the phenotype. Now, this baby is going to look like the mother. Not necessarily more than the father, but this baby's going to look like the mother. It's because in this case, the offspring, the baby girl, if you will, inherited a dominant allele from the mother in this case. If one of these guys was hairless, then if the baby was little h, well, both of these guys are heterozygous for the trait, so that's why the probability of having a hairless baby is 25% or 1/4. Okay. I hope you guys are following this. I hope this is working. So here's the second page. It says, there's a teacher from Texas that loves hairless guinea pigs. In guinea pigs, the dominant allele H, capital H, codes for the trait of having hair, and the allele little h codes for the trait of being hairless. And we're talking about complete dominance, dominant versus recessive. Again, next week we're going to be looking at cases where there's not a complete dominance. There's either codominance or incomplete dominance. She buys a hairless guinea pig at a pet store and buys another guinea pig at a store, and she names him Fred. So we've got Genevieve and Fred. We know Genevieve is little h. That's what she has to be in order for her to be hairless. She has to be little h. That's the genotype, the phenotype. The phenotype is hairless. We know Fred has hair. Fred could be homozygous, or he could be heterozygous. Okay? If Fred was the genotype big H, and bred with Genevieve, if Fred was the genotype big H, H, and bread with Genevieve. So we're supposed to make a Punnett square. I'm gonna do Fred, and the convention is to put the male across the top of the Punnett square, but we're gonna put the alleles for Fred on the top and kind of separate them so that we can make this happen. So he's either big H, or he's big H, little h. Now she, and I'm going to use the pink because that's what I have, but also, boys are blue and girls are pink. Who said that? I'm blue, and I'm not a boy. So she is little h, little h. Okay, little h, little h. Now, in this square, I'm going to go ahead and put the allele from the dad and the allele from the mom. So he gives this, she gives it this, because that's all she has, that's all he has. This guy gets big H and little h. The pinks from the mom, blues from the dad, big H, little h, and big H, little h. I almost did it in blue. So we know, here, let me put these down, get this. So the genotype for all the babies is big H, little h, okay? It's 100%. Ain't no way these two are gonna have a hairless baby unless there's a mutation. No way, can't happen. The phenotype is 100% hairy. They're hairy, they're so hairy. Now, remember this is a probability, but if it's 100%, that's what it is. This is not just a prediction, this is fact. This is what they have. There's not going to be, unless there's a mutation, there's not going to be anything else. Now, here's where I need you to pay even more close attention. So this baby gets the big H from the dad and the little h from the mom. This baby gets the big H from the dad and the little h from the mom. This baby gets the little h from the dad and the little h from the mom. This baby gets the little h from the dad and the little h from the mom. Now, again, it's just a prediction. It's a probability. It could happen like this. So you know that the genotype, and this is of the offspring, could be big H, little h. They could be little h, little h. It's a 50-50. Or a 2 out of 4, or a 1/2, or a 1 to 2, or a 2 to 4, or all kinds of different ways to write that. For the purposes of now, let's just do percentages. The phenotype prediction, again, it's just a prediction. 50% hairy and 50% hairless. Again, they might have 6 babies and all of them are hairy. They could have 4 babies and all of them are hairless. Okay? It's a prediction. So, here's what I want you to write. Explain in your own words how the offspring from the test cross could determine Fred's genotype. Here's the deal. If any babies are hairless, okay, that's their phenotype. We would know that the genotype is little h, little h. If any babies are hairless, little h, then we know Fred is big H, little h. He has to be, because there aren't any hairless babies if he's big H, Okay. If there aren't any hairless babies, we don't know nothing. We still don't know. Okay? We don't know Fred's genotype. Heck, they could have 100 babies. And if none of them are hairless, we still don't know. You know, we could do a 23andMe with him, whatever. What could be some weaknesses with using a test cross to determine Fred's genotype? Because it's a probability, you know, they could have a bunch of babies that are hairy. And just, you know, we still don't know. All right, that's it. I hope it worked.